This morning, the SEC is taking aim at the crypto industry. Crypto exchange Coinbase could soon face an enforcement action tied to its listing of potential unregistered securities. And we have this tweet from Paul Grewal, Coinbase's chief legal officer, tweeting, Coinbase received a Wells notice from the SEC after years of asking for reasonable crypto rules. We're disappointed that the SEC is considering courts over constructive dialogue, but if courts are required, so be it. We'll defend the rule of law. And joining us now with more is CoinDesk Global Policy and Regulation Managing Editor Nick Day, who's also the editor of CoinDesk's The State of Crypto newsletter. So, Nick, the SEC is alleging Coinbase may be working in violation of securities laws in the running of its exchange and staking services. What are the ramifications of this?
Hey, good morning. So, obviously we've kind of seen this coming for a while now. SEC Chair Gary Gensler has in the past said repeatedly that he believes crypto exchanges should be registered as securities exchanges, calling out Coinbase specifically. And while the, view of any single commissioner, including the chair, isn't in and of itself, really binding guidance, it is still an indication of where he's leaning. So, we're finally seeing, where that might go. The implications, of course, are if the SEC wins a court victory saying, yes, Coinbase has to register as a securities exchange due to either A, its staking program, B, its wallet service, or C, due to some of the assets that it lists, then that is a, pretty severe precedent for other crypto exchanges. They've been resistant in the past to registering as a securities exchange for, two reasons, really. One is you have a lot of companies and even attorneys in the crypto sector say they don't really know how certain assets should abide by the disclosures and other requisites requirements of a securities regime in the U.S. That's part of what folks like Paul Grewal have been saying need clarity. And the other is it is an expensive and time-consuming process to register, and crypto exchange is not necessarily going to have the resources to do that. A handful, maybe Coinbase, for example, could do it, but quite a few crypto exchanges are smaller and just not able to handle that. So, depending on how this plays out, could be pretty serious.
So with the Wells notice, it's usually fairly vague, but here we have a couple of ideas that, what they're targeting. It seems like they're targeting staking, correct? I mean, it seems like that seems to be the sort of the Trojan horse, if you will, for the SEC to get into all these crypto exchanges and upend them. Is that our understanding here?
Well, that's one of it. One of the items, sure. And again, even here, SEC Chair Gary Gensler has said quite a few times now that, in his view, staking seems like a security because of the return that users receive on staked coins. So, we've kind of seen this coming as well. I think honestly, the more serious one is the implication that certain cryptocurrencies that are listed are securities. And again, nothing new. We've heard SEC officials say this for years, but this is the part that really will become a major precedent for crypto exchanges, right? They can shut down their staking programs and keep operating, but if they do have to register or disclose every asset that they list or a majority of assets that they list, then that is probably what's going to hurt them in terms of their ability to continue as a going function.
Nick, can you just break down something, though, that I think is very confusing to people who are not following this, which is that basically the SEC is saying you have to register, and Coinbase is saying we already tried to register and we weren't able to. Like, what exactly is that referring to? Because that's the big point of their blog post, right? Like, we've tried to register, and it's just impossible to register. What exactly were they trying to register as? And if you could break that down, I think it would be helpful.
Right, yeah, that's one of the, bigger questions, and part of it is it's not necessarily Coinbase that has to register. I think part of it is they were wondering how exactly token issuers could register as the issuers of a crypto security, and this goes back to what attorneys and companies in the space say is an issue for them, which is they don't quite know how they can comply with the specific disclosure requirements carried out under U.S. securities law. A lot of those disclosures require things like, having specific addresses and CEOs and all these mundane things that a decentralized entity might not have, at least on paper. And so that's part of it. Part of it is Coinbase I would say it looks like they're being expected to register as a national securities exchange, which is, again, a process. Other examples of national securities exchanges are like NASDAQ, the NYSE. So, there's only a handful of those in the U.S. Working through that is, I think, part of it. It's really just figuring out how to make the, decentralized crypto ecosystem comport with, the securities laws.
And the Wells notice also came on the same day that the SEC sued Tron founder Justin Sun and have allegations that the TRX and BTT tokens are unregistered securities. The SEC is also suing the Tron Foundation and BitTorrent Foundation and BitTorrent itself, which is now known as Rainberry. So maybe you could give a brief explainer of what's going on there.
There is a lot going on in that case.
Yeah.
The SEC is suing Sun and 3 of his affiliated companies on allegations of not just that TRX and BTT are securities that are unregistered, but also on charges of market manipulation and fraud. And these allegations are, besides the fact that they're saying that these tokens are unregistered securities. He says the allegations are that Justin Sun coordinated a, quote, extensive wash trading campaign for at least TRX, where he had employees from one company create accounts at exchanges to, basically trade major, large amounts of the tokens back and forth, basically indicating that there was a lot more volume and liquidity than there actually was.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but there were some celebrities. You see, I thought Lindsay Lohan legitimately knew about crypto, and so she's somebody. We have a list here. I mean, these are pretty, Jake Paul. I mean, Soldier Boy. These are all Little Yachty. For God's sakes. I mean, these are all people that I assume were crypto experts when they were telling me to buy stuff. But it turns out they were, the allegation is that they were told not to disclose they were being compensated. I can't believe that they were compensated for giving advice. I mean, is that true?
Right. I mean, we've seen this before. Most of the folks, on that list have settled with the SEC. They've paid a, nominal fee. I believe Soulja Boy and I don't see his name on the list, but Austin Mahone are 2 artists who did not settle. They're also being named as defendants in the suit. But part of that allegation is that Justin Sun apparently tweeted that no celebrity who is paid to talk about TRX should be unknown, like they should be disclosing that they were paid. But the suit said, something along the lines of that he not only knew that was incorrect, he had personally paid or arranged some of these endorsements. So that is part of the suit as well. And again, we've seen this before many times. If a celebrity, promotes a token and they get paid for it and they don't talk about it, the SEC will come after them. And we've seen that with so many people.
Wow. All right.
I put my all life savings in whatever Lindsay Lohan tells me to do.
Indeed. That was CoinDesk Managing Editor of Global Policy and Regulation, Nick Day. Don't forget to sign up for the State of Crypto newsletter on CoinDesk.com.